we're going to bring up your next speaker. That's going to be the wonderful, magnificent Chris James.
If you talk about how much you hate your fat, your body has been working all this time to keep you alive. I don't think anybody in my circle understands impossible.
All right, guys, I'm Chris James, and I am back with Dylan. Dylan from the Root Wellness Brands is joining us today because, well, you guys asked for me to bring him back. Dylan, I don't even know if you knew that, but in the comment section, they were asking for me to bring you back. So we're going to talk about a couple of different products, and then also we're going to be talking a little bit about our challenge that we have coming up here. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, thank you. And actually, my fiance did tell me that a couple comments did say to come back. It made me a little giddy inside, so that's kind of fun to see. There was one part, I guess, in the first one where I mentioned her and said, "Oh, my fiance's gonna hate if I say this about her about going to the gym or something like that."
Yeah.
And so it was just really cute because she was messaging me. I told her as soon as the YouTube video dropped to go check it out, and she was watching it during work, and she kept giving me updates while she's working.
Did you forget you said something about that?
She goes, what do you mean about this? And and she also knew something about the banana flavor or whatever we talked about last time. She goes, I told you about that last time. Supposedly she even told me about some stuff you told me.
That's hilarious. Yeah, fun facts, man. Like when I was younger, I used to collect a lot of these I call it useless information. I heard on this show, this TV show, they were like, yeah, I'm a fountain of useless information. And I thought it was funny. That's one of those things that's kind of useless information. But as I got older, I started collecting a lot of this useless information. And then I started connecting dots and it became useful. So,
I'm hoping I get to the connecting dot stage. I have a lot of useless information that, as of right now, at my age of 28, is still quote unquote useless from what most people tell me. But I mean, I've got to connect the dots for a lot of the fitness, physical, nutrition, stuff like that. So hopefully, my random facts of random things in space will come together eventually.
hey man, your 30 is coming, and 30 is like a very special time for everybody. I know that's when I started to use my useless information. So who knows, man? You might have a revelation.
Well, let's see.
All right, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the products that I wanted to use in the challenge. So I'll briefly talk about the challenge. We're going to be starting Sunday, May 25th. So we've got roughly 10, 11 days or something like that till the challenge starts. And thanks to Root and Dylan, partnering with us, we're able to put some bundles together for you guys to just help you during the challenge. It makes everything more seamless. You get better results, honestly. Your body is already in a state that's ready to detox and heal. And so using the right supplement during the time when your body is in a sensitive state is important. And so I guess I wanted to start with Clean Slate because Clean Slate is, like I said, is my favorite supplement. And the body is already going to be in a place where it's ready to detox. But how can Clean Slate help us as we're kind of doing some of this heavy detoxing?
Well, so Clean Slate just by itself is a detox supplement. It will just primarily pull out heavy metals, toxins, which everyone accumulates those throughout the day. But Clean Slate will help bind to heavy metals in the bloodstream. What it does, it uses this ascorbic acid, vitamin C, as a binder, along with the other ingredients inside of it that will bind to heavy metals. And it binds to what's called a tetrahedral form. And it actually uses water molecules in your bloodstream to bind into those heavy metals and toxins, and it'll push it out of your bloodstream, meaning any kind of physical activity, any kind of thing that you're doing. I go to the sauna actually, and I'll sweat. And before I go to the sauna, 30 minutes before my workout or sauna, I'll take Clean Slate, and it helps expel toxins. And if you've never tried Clean Slate, so I don't know if everyone at your challenge will have had it before, but if you haven't had it and you go to your challenge, you'll feel it. Like if you really try and you take it the recommended dosing, you titrate up, you'll feel the expulsion of your toxins.
Yeah, I know that I felt like a itching kind of sensation on my feet and I think my hands. And it's so weird because like I try so many different supplements and then like I'll be using something when it's new, I'll be using something and it usually does nothing. But then with Clean Slate, because I was like I detox a lot anyway, I didn't expect much. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like going through working and I'm like scratching and I'm like, man, why am I itching? I was like, oh, it must be the Clean Slate. So, it depends on the person, I think, what they experience as far as like how strong it is. But when you very first use it, especially if you just start taking the 10 drops
Yeah.
instantly, it can be crazy.
I think I told you this before. I don't know if it was on the last call or just talking on the phone, but my first time trying it, the Clay, Dr. Christina Rom, they kind of made fun of me because I was a big dude. I've worked out. I sweat through a lot. I mean, my body's like constantly pushing things out. I was like, this is no big deal. I can detox. I've detoxed before. So I started taking Clean Slate. I took two servings, so two full tincture droplets. And the next day I started expelling, I guess, those toxins.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that good the next day. So I learned to titrate up. But like I said, I did go pretty heavy with it. My first experience, I actually broke out a little bit
Mhm.
um, because, like I said, I play sports, play rugby, and I go to the sauna, I go to the gym. So I was actually excreting a lot of those toxins through my pores too, which is no issue. I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing. I could see myself like, oh, obviously there's bad things in my body that are now no longer in my body. So
Right.
it's kind of cool to see all that kind of stuff. And then obviously after my first week, I was pretty fast with bouncing back. After my first week, it felt like I was walking through a different zone of reality almost because my body felt limber. I felt like I was recovering faster, and I could also think much more clearly.
Okay, so we always talk about kind of like working your way up, right? Like, I recommend people start with like 5 drops and then just see what they feel, and then if they feel too much detox, just start at 1 drop and work your way up. But taking the recommended dosage on the bottle, which is 10 drops twice a day, right?
Mhm.
um you might feel something that you would like describe as a negative feeling, a detox symptom, but this is not harming you. And then, because like some people they kind of like to feel something, like they want to feel something. So,
So the recommended dose we end up doing is 2 to 3 drops twice a day and build up from there. That's
okay.
for any that's our safety net of like that's pretty low. So 5 drops is perfect. Um, the thing that people feel the most if they don't titrate up and they go 10 drops twice a day right away,
Mhm.
they'll feel a bit lightheaded sometimes, or they'll have headaches. And the reason for that is because, like I said, that the bioavailable silica with absorbic acid is going to bind through water. So you will dehydrate yourself as you're detoxing yourself, which I always thought was a pretty well-known thing, but working with a company, I found that no, people don't really understand that really. It's not like well known. How is it coming out of my body? What's expelling it? What's binding to this heavy metal and getting it
Mhm.
through myself?
hmm That's really good clarity right there. So, I always teach hydration. Once again, this is one of the reasons why I love doing this during our challenge because we do a lot of mindful hydration during the challenge. So it's the perfect time for people to utilize something like this because, in daily life, it's like, okay, I'm detoxing, I'm doing this, whatever, but I'm having a little pizza today and maybe I don't really drink as much water. And then you're still taking your clean slate and now you're finding that you become more dehydrated. So I feel like that helps bring a lot of clarity to the product and how it works.
100%. And I think you just touched on a major key factor. One, if you want to be healthy, fit, whatever you want to do, the biggest thing I would tell people to start with is drink plenty of water. Like I think online it still says 8 ounces a day. Like that's or 6 to 8 cups of water, which is 8 ounces.
Yeah.
That's a horribly slow or low number of water.
Yeah.
I think that everyone should be drinking 3 or 4 times that much water. If you're active at all, if you're especially if
hmm
you're trying to detox, especially with such a strong detox or light clean slate, if you're
hmm
going to detox with that, the more water you have, the faster your body's going through and cycling things out.
Yeah. Um, I know we can't really get into like claims, but I'll let you dance around that. What can you tell us about what people experience using Clean Slate? Or I know you could talk about what you experienced, but
Well, so there's a couple things that aren't really claims, and it's actually through blood work.
Okay.
So Clay actually has been going through a lot of athletes or some higher level people that we can't mention, but we have them do urine tests, and test the heavy metal deposits in their body. They'll do blood work tests and they'll see what their blood levels are. And there's a couple ways you can test where we would say your baseline is, which is a bad way to say that, but testing where your heavy metals and toxins are before you start taking Clean Slate. And we actually recommend anyone who's a little bit skeptical to do this because after about a week or two, you will see a huge drop off. We actually just saw someone who had the highest level of arsenic we've ever seen. I don't know the actual numbers. I'm not going to speak as if I know them, but it's someone who Dr. Ram actually knew because her son knew him. And he started taking Clean Slate, and 2 weeks into it, it dropped by like 50%. And that seems like a
Wow.
lot, but I mean, heavy metal levels aren't as high as you think they are. It was just we'd never seen someone with that high level of arsenic in there.
Mm.
Um, and then another one is I think I talked the last time about this. People with Hashimoto's have high levels of lead and mercury in their body, which means their thyroid can't produce the um, hormone selenium.
Mm.
And if you have too much excess heavy metals, you have those hormonal issues. We can't say that Clean Slate cures anything like that. But we have seen people with Hashimoto specifically produce more selenium in their body because they're removing the barrier, which is the heavy metal barrier. So their
Mm.
body's getting more into a good status quo. It's going more into um, leveled out, I guess I would say, because that's what your hormones do for you. So those are two things that I think are amazing that are really high up in terms of goals some people might have. Those are very niche ones, but obviously those are two examples of three different heavy metals that were obviously lowered by using the product. My personal story with Clean Slate was I truly just felt like I could recover faster, and I'll talk how that binds into Sculpt, which is going to be part of the challenge. But I feel like I don't take a lot of supplements anyway. I do take my amino acids, Crush. I take my Clean Slate, but I feel like I could feel the other supplements better
Hmm.
after I removed the toxins. And something I didn't fully understand, even as a nutritionist, before this, was the whole science behind if your body's clogged, if your body has a lot of um, junk in it, then putting just good things in, it's just going to go through your body. The better your body can operate, the more bioavailability you have to actually absorb good nutrients, the better it can be. You're halted with absorbing those nutrients by having toxins in your body. So I noticed this is probably a month into me taking Clean Slate when I really noticed this was I wasn't needing as much dosing of my Crush or anything like that. I could feel like I could recover faster and I felt more limber because I think that the actual products that I was also taking were taking better effect of me.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that all makes perfect sense to me. Um, I think it's very exciting what Clean Slate has the ability to do. I mean, just the heavy metals in general. The heavy metals are in everything. Like people don't even think about it. Like when we were children, we all ate tuna fish. It's like it's canned tuna. You know what I mean? It's heavy metals in everything. And so we're constantly coming in contact with this stuff. It's in the air. It's in the, you know, I mean, I don't know where you're at with it, but they spray the skies around here. So
Well, I
it's,
know for a fact that they spray literal pesticides on the ground. I mean, I used to work at a golf course back when I was in high school. I used to have a summer job, and one of my we always had spray techs taking giant carts with booms on the side of them, and they would spray up and down the golf course to make sure the grass looked pretty. Well,
mm,
they're spraying chemicals. I mean, it's no way to get around that. So if you've ever played golf before, there's a good chance you've inhaled or been around, been in contact with chemicals that would have heavy metals and toxins.
yeah. Yeah, there's so many things that heavy metals, you know what, recently I've been doing some research on parasites, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's kind of, I think it might be a little controversial as far as like people see parasites as a completely negative thing. I don't see them that way, but the metals in the body, you know, parasites feed off of metals. So if you have issues with parasites, you do want to like eliminate their food source. And so being able to get rid of heavy metals is going to help do that. All right, so there's a second product that I wanted to introduce. I did it back in actually it's maybe this time last year. I can't remember when it very first came out, but we did a challenge and I introduced it a little bit after that. Very, very exciting. And that's Sculpt. And Sculpt works
Right.
extremely well with our community and our community goals because it's one of those supplements that's designed to help with weight management, right? So um how I guess how do well, you already mentioned that Clean Slate helps to enhance what you get from your other supplements and things of that nature, but let's talk about Sculpt.
So, Sculpt, I actually love when people say weight management. I know we talked about it last time, but everyone wants to call a product a weight loss product. And I just don't like that term because if you're already healthy and you don't want to lose weight, but you want to tone, you want to get physically more fit, uh,
Mm,
and losing weight might sound like a bad connotation. You might look at a product and say, well, why would I want that? I take Sculpt to manage my weight, meaning I want my body fat to be roughly between 10 and 15%. That's usually my working rate I got. And I want my body like weight in terms of my muscle mass to keep going up. So to do that, you have to be able to fuel your body while also making sure that it's using the same levels of what you would call energy, ATP, which goes through the Krebs cycle for carbs, that you can use your energy output properly. And that probably sounds convoluted, but if you have the highest level octane gas in your car, you have jet fuel in your car, it's going to burn it at a good rate. It's actually going to propel the car to go faster and run better. That convoluted again. But if this is thinking of this as fuel using the proper use of insulin and glucose, so that way your body can operate and manage itself at the highest level for highest output. So if you want to lose weight, yes, you can do that because you're using your output correctly.
mm.
If you want to gain weight, you still can. I mean, you can manage that off. But if you want to gain weight, let's say you're in a bulking phase at some point in your life, and you want to take Sculpt to not do a dirty bulk to help out with getting lean, big muscle building mass, you can
Mhm,
do that.
mhm.
So I just want to tee up with what you said because I love when people say weight management rather than weight loss.
Yeah, well, I got that from you. And so you taught me. And you know, the thing that's interesting is women, I man, I have seen this a billion times. Because I've always been into petite women, and I man they my audience man y'all ragged me last time I said this. I don't even know if I should say this, but like I'm allowed to have my preference, y'all. I've always liked petite women, right? So dating petite women, they always feel like they're too small. They always feel like, oh, they don't feel ladylike. They don't have a big butt or big breasts or you know what I mean. And so that's just a thing that petite women, tend to deal with. And so they always want to gain more weight. And so, but like what I see happen oftentimes as they get older, they like start eating or they start having children or whatever, and they're gaining weight, but it's not translating the way they really want because like I think you mentioned it's like dirty bulking. It's like you're not really gaining you want to keep your figure, right? Or you want to accentuate certain aspects of your figure without gaining the big belly and like wherever you kind of have problem areas. So you're saying that someone who is petite could use Sculpt, eat clean, exercise certain areas of their body and like kind of fill themselves out.
Well, actually, I mean, by definition, it's calories in versus calories out. As long as your caloric intake is, registering the correct way for your body's output, I mean, you can do whatever you want as long as the calories you're taking in are decent. I mean, if you have 10,000 calories of ice cream versus 10,000 calories of protein versus like throughout the week, I'm assuming you're going to be, a little bit off kilter. But yeah, 100%, you can take this product and whatever your goal is, you can vary that product to be at the end of your goal.
Mm,
And one thing I want to say is when I was a personal trainer, I would make dietary programs. I'd help like people with their macro and micro nutritional supplements. I would help out with a lot of things. And the thing that most of my female clients said, the biggest thing actually to me was, I don't want to get too big, or I don't want to look like a Hulk or a big man. And
yeah.
I don't think people fully understand because I would recommend a certain supplement and like, well, I don't want to take that because I don't want to get big, veiny, strong like you are. And I'm like, you're fine. You're gonna take this, and your body's natural hormonal levels are going to balance you out to make sure that you are the perfect size that you're going to be. Doing any type of exercise is going to make anyone one healthier, but also happier in the long run. So
Mhm.
that's my long-winded speech for that one.
No, you're right, man. It's there's a lot of misconceptions as it relates to that. I mean, women who are able to like almost build muscle like a man, they're using something completely different. Like they're playing with hormones at a completely different rate. And hormone balance is super important. Now, Sculpt has the ability to not only help with weight management, but it also has like an appetite suppressant feature as well, right?
Yeah, so it has white kidney bean in it, which has been known to help with the specific appetite suppression for carbs. And if anyone has ever gone into ketosis, which is if you're using ketones instead of carbs for your fuel,
Mhm.
you will know what I mean by carb appetite. Anyone
Mm.
who's taken carbs out of their diet or tried to reduce carbs know that if you smell bread across the way, you're going to get hungry. So it has that, but it also has valerian root, which valerian root has been linked to helping with gut and muscle relaxing ability. So it helps with recovery, but it helps with the microbiome of the gut in a small manner. So if you have both of those, it can help feel more satiated. It can help you feel more relaxed during times that you might think that you're going to be too hungry. You're going to lose those cravings. And that's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not like, oh, I took my first pill of Sculpt, I lost all my cravings. No,
Right.
it's going to be one of those things when you get into your routine of taking your clean slate and your sculpts, you're removing the bad things and you're putting the good things in. That's when you start feeling less of an appetite and more of like I would say completion. Because there's been times I've gone out to eat and I feel immediately afterwards like, oh, I could eat another course. I can go to another meal. This
Mhm.
helps with understanding and your body's limits and working through actual calories that you have and not needing to crave more other ones.
Well, that's very insightful. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience with Sculpt, but it's important to understand that when you combine these very powerful supplements and tools with that mindfulness, the challenge, it's like I'm gonna be very mindful for a period of time. I'm gonna hydrate well. Like I'm going to actively pursue health for a period of time. You couple it with the supplements, and it gives you that time you need to really start to adapt, maybe lifestyle change, and you know what I mean. It's kind of like a spark. But when I very first started using Sculpt, and look, I'm the type of person most products, especially when it comes to supplements, but even like recreational drugs, and I've tried a few things in the past. They just don't have that impact on me like it does with other people. My body just responds different to a lot of stuff. And Sculpt, it took me probably about 10 days. I think I was using it for like between 8 and 10 days. And like it kicked in and my appetite was just gone. Like, and I don't know, like I don't know. Like I was good. I didn't need to eat anything is how I felt. My energy levels were really high. Like I just felt good. And when we do our challenges, getting into ketosis is like it's part of that. And I really like how the body uses the ketones as fuel. It's just a very clean resource for the brain function, cognitive function and stuff. So I look at like the different tools and the techniques, kind of combining everything together, drinking your water, eating fresh fruit and things of that nature. It really is powerful and it makes you feel like, man, this is much more doable than I thought it was going to be. So that's kind of like my goal here with the challenge, um, to give people an opportunity to try something, maybe step outside their comfort zone. And once again, I want to say big thank you to you and the Root Wellness Brands for sponsoring the challenge because now what I'm able to do is offer when you guys go to checkout, I'm able to offer the products as part of our bundle, as part of the registration. And so it's a little bit more cost effective. And so I just, thank you so much for helping us out.
Can I ask, first off, we love doing this kind of stuff. I personally love doing different challenges with people. Like one of my favorite things of all time being a trainer when I was back training uh, was seeing the progress. I would always make my clients take like before and after pictures because you don't see the difference. So I would love to see like the major effects that our products are going to help your clients have because trust me, that's my favorite thing as a person is to see someone go into a challenge or maybe they have their own personal mindset of something and at the
Mhm.
end of it they've accomplished their goals, or even better, they've superseded everything they thought they could do. They've gone past the 10 pounds they thought they could lose. They've gained X amount of muscle. They've done this, and they've just destroyed their own mind and their boundaries of what they could perceive themselves to be.
Yes.
And I didn't realize this. Is your challenge going to be about getting into ketosis, lowering your carbs, and increasing your fat intake?
I mean, all of that is included. Yes.
So I will say, now that I know that, just talking on what this product can do for ketosis, because it does help with energy output, that those couple days of it can be a day or it can be a week. Everyone's body is slightly different of how much ketones your body's present with. So this product actually will help a lot with that transitional period from glycolysis to ketosis. So I'm
Um,
glad that this is an offer for people who are going to be doing ketosis, because there's a time period, if you ever tried going into that, where you feel sluggish, where you feel almost mentally weak, and then you start burning your fats as your fuel, and then your brain starts firing off into full gear. And like you
mhm.
said, that I've done that before. I've used to play rugby in ketosis, and I felt like I was doing great, and I burned a lot of fat. I did it personally for a spring break trip in college when I was playing rugby, but our product itself will help with your energy levels in that state. And
Yeah.
it'll also help suppress your carb appetite. So that's the two things you need for this exact thing. That's perfect.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, man. I mean, I think you're putting it in terms that kind of just kind of put that nice scientific bow on it, but it's exactly what I experienced, and that's what I wanted everybody to experience as well. So what I can do, um part of the challenge is there's like we have like these tasks we're gonna have people do. And so I think if I'm not mistaken, well, I haven't released all the information about the tasks yet, but part of the task is before and after pictures. So we're gonna have them do like before and after pictures, and before and after weight, and of course maybe like a little blurb just about what they experienced or how this particular challenge is different from something they've done in the past. And so hopefully we can collect some data for you, maybe some images and stuff, and you know what I mean, send them over
That's
and you can check
amazing.
it out.
Because I'm in operations, so I'm kind of behind the scenes. I do shipping logistics for our company, but a lot of the people in our company and a lot of the customers we have will reach out to me because they know I'm the fitness one of the company. I've heard
Gotcha.
a lot of amazing stories. I've seen a lot of people really transform themselves, and in a shorter time than you would think. I mean,
Mm.
there are certain people who have lost 5 to 10 pounds in the first week or two.
Mm.
And I mean, and these people I'm talking about aren't doing challenges like what you're doing, where you're actually getting guidance. This is just people who I'm going to go walk 5 miles today, and I'm just going to take
Right.
this. It's not people who are guided, have a structure, and are really doing a challenge. And one of the cool things about a challenge, I always loved as a trainer, it gives people in the mindset that they can't fail or can't quit because you're already in this. Like once
Mhm.
you get into a challenge, I think that your goals are now set in stone. You're going to do what you need to do to reach those goals. So yeah, if you can send us or send me personally anything that like really stands out to you, and if there's someone who does your challenge that you're like, this is perfect, let me give them an extra clean slate, or someone just like really needs something like that. I, from the company, will use my own money to make sure that they can stick with some products because, I mean, once you change someone's life like the way you're trying to do,
Mhm.
it just really opens the door for like the rest of their lives and other people around them.
Absolutely, man. I certainly appreciate that. I'm the same way. Like, I really like to uh do my best to support someone who is actually putting toward effort and they're making progress, because it really is in our society we talk a lot about money and how money is currency and it's energy exchange and blah blah blah, but really there's different forms of currency and energy exchange, and transformations are like my favorite form. Like
Hmm.
if somebody is 100 pounds overweight and in X amount of time doing, mindful eating, fasting, or whatever they're doing, and they're able to lose the weight and be motivated, and that's everything to me. I love those stories. So,
One of my favorite things is seeing the before pictures of my old clients. And if you look at their face, not even their body, but their face, yes, looks slimmer, but they look happier at the end of it.
yeah.
And I don't even think that's because they've lost the weight. I think that's part of it. But I think it's truly the aspect of they've changed their lives. And when they notice how much different they are, not just physically, but mentally, their stress levels go down. You become literally happier. And I just love seeing the glimpse of their face. It's almost always stoic face, eyes down, frown,
Yeah.
to a completely different person, eyebrows coming up, they start smiling a little bit. And that's what I like the most is because you can see that what you put into it made the change. And I like
Mhm.
seeing people because when I was a trainer, I could tell them what to do. You as a coach and what you do with your challenges, yes, you can tell them what to do. But at the end of the day, these are people who are coming out of their way to make a difference. And they're the ones putting the time and energy and effort to make those changes. And that's a full one person, one task, completed goal kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's powerful. I actually noticed that with my brothers. First time I ever saw it, I was at the beginning of my career doing wellness coaching, and I'm helping my brother, and I just happened to record like his kind of like his day one. We sat down and we did a whole full recording, and like literally, um, was that maybe 3 months later, something like that? We did another record. No. We did the follow up maybe like 5 or 6 months later, but he had like transformed his life in 3 months. But when we did the follow up, you can literally see they're two completely different people. The way he sits, his energy levels, like the way he talks, everything is different. And so I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
It's there's nothing like it. That's there's literally nothing like it. And you really start to see like people are far more beautiful than we are aware of, but like we're all bogged down with like depression and dis-ease and discomfort, and we don't really realize it. And so when you lift, it's almost like having a thorn in your foot and you don't know it's there, but it's like this pain and you can't get rid of it. And then the thorn comes out and you're like the happy giant again. You know what I mean?
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, so Dylan, you had I had mentioned I think when we were talking originally that we were going to be doing like it's almost like a competition style. Like people are going to have tasks that they're going to do, and the more tasks you complete, you're going to have opportunity to win some prizes. And part of the thing I wanted to do was do some wellness, give away some wellness prizes. So you had mentioned, potentially doing some clean slate for somebody. Did you I don't know if you had come up with what you wanted to give away as far as like prizes, because I still have people on our old video putting crush in the comment section trying to
Really?
win some crush.
That's funny. I have a couple of ideas. There's one big one I kind of want to talk to you offline about because I just
Okay.
started thinking about this while we were talking
All right.
about how understanding your body helps propel for like the understanding of yourself is going to be a huge thing. I think there's a couple things that would be very beneficial. One, we're going to be giving the sample pack zero in, but I think zero in would be a great one for people to have a chance to win because that's something that people, once you start taking clean slate and you get all toxins out of your body, and then you start putting zero into your mind and you really start boosting your dopamine and serotonin, that's an amazing thing. So I feel like I would want to make sure that people can get that as a chance to win for challenges.
Okay.
Obviously, like I said, Slate would be an amazing one for some challenges. And then I had to put my two favorite on there, Crush and Sculpt. So I would like to have those four products and possibly a fifth one I'm talking about as maybe
Okay.
a hidden one. If there's like a major, major win, we can
Okay.
talk offline.
Yeah,
But I
we'll
think
we'll
those
talk
four products,
offline.
yeah. But I think those
Yeah.
four products are the ones I would like to make sure that your people who are doing their challenges can have a chance to win, especially if they like the products, because it's always a nice thing to be able to get just an extra free one. And I
You
think it might motivate them to do more.
yeah, and look, I gotta tell y'all, um, the goal is not to just use the products during the challenge, right? They're daily supplements. I've been using Clean Slate for 4.5, 5 years now, something like that. I mean, I absolutely love it. And there was a period of time where I didn't use it. And it's like you can slowly tell, like you could tell, like I could tell that I haven't been using it. And so I recently read up. I bought like, I don't know, like two or three more bottles because like I ran out for a couple of months and I had my subscription set up for something else. And they've got some other great products. We don't talk about like there's a whole product line. One of my other favorite is what's it called? The one for the liver. Clean Spirits.
Oh, Queen Spirits. Yeah, so that one actually has really popped up recently. There's been a lot of studies going on with alcohol syndromes, a lot of jaundice studies. And so Clean Spirits is a very similar formulation to Clean Slate, but
Mhm.
instead of um, the main ingredient. It has what's called NAC. It's N-acetyl L-cysteine, and that's what's in clean spirits. Sorry. And that NAC, like for example, if you have an acetaminophen overdose, or if you have something that's clogging your liver, if you go to the doctor, they'll give you a shot of that, and it'll help clear
Mm.
through your liver. So we have this in a daily dose form. I think it's six milligrams per serving. Don't quote me on that, but it's an incredible product that helps detoxify the body, but it also specializes in detoxifying the liver,
Mm.
which anyone who's been to college a couple times and had a couple beers, you probably need to do that. I take that as a daily supplement too.
Yeah.
That's a great product, and you that one takes a little longer to feel, but once you start feeling that, I think after a month, that's when I started feeling the difference. I felt cleaner, and I think anyone who knows what I'm talking about knows why I said the word cleaner. It really does flush you out and makes you feel.
I guess depending on how you use it, you can feel it fast or it might be a little slower. It depends on your lifestyle, I
I
think.
took
But
Yeah,
it's
I took a smaller dose.
it's an incredible product. And so my goal here and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on was just to talk more about these different products, get people excited about using them because there's a lot of products on the market. People waste their money, honestly. This is the reason why I didn't promote. There's a lot of things I get literally every day in my inbox. I have somebody new wanting me to promote a vitamin, a pill, or something. And obviously 99% of them just go to the trash. It's just, it's like I want something that's high quality, high functional, something where people are going to see results, and it's not going to have any weird side effects or anything, weird going on. And
Mhm.
one thing I thought about too earlier, for those who maybe you don't have a good sense for your body. You don't feel things. Maybe you're like me, you're not as sensitive to stuff too. One way that you can track it too is live blood analysis. I went in, one of my colleagues is a detox specialist, and one of his colleagues does live blood analysis. And so they did their own testing with Clean Slate and some of the other root products to see how the blood will respond to it. And I mean, it's just incredible. It responds extremely quickly. I think, within taking the Clean Slate they did like a live blood analysis, did a sample, then took the Clean Slate like 15 minutes later, did another live blood, and the blood was like night and day. So it works really, really quickly in just enhancing the oxygenation in the blood and like you could see it working. And so live blood analysis, I mean, it's kind of taboo, I think, in Western world still, but there's some guys out there that'll do it. There's, guys locally that do it here. I've had mine done twice in the past, this year, I think. No, once this year. I take that back. But
So we did clean up our YouTube because obviously we're 5 years old as a company now, and I think we started making sure we're in the same type of graphics like look and feel. But I think in the depths of our YouTube from the inception of Clean Slate and the root brands, I think they show a blood sample test and what it looks like for blood to be activated with Clean Slate, and it shows the before and after pictures. And so, if people don't know this, but your blood's supposed to look circular and it's supposed to be able to move around, and it shouldn't be clumped together. And if you
mhm.
start having jagged pieces of the blood, those are usually issues. There's something wrong, like not wrong, but uh, I think it was 30 to 45 minutes after Clean Slate, it showed a vial of blood, and like the microscope changes. It looks way more vibrant and moving, and it looks like completely different blood cells, and it
Mhm.
go completely circular. It's a really cool thing to look, but still on our YouTube channel. And that's obviously
Yeah.
not a something like that. It just really shows how fast Clean Slate can be active for the blood.
Not like literally. So I brought up the blood analysis because like there are when I do stuff like health stuff, I try to get my family involved. I try to get as many people involved as I can. And so several of us went to go get these live blood tests done, right? I have been taking my clean slate faithfully. Like I said, it's just a little period of time where I wasn't taking it, but some of the other people in my family have not. And we noticed that there was a distinct difference in um I think it was like a mycotoxin that was in their blood that was not in mine. And it's
Hmm.
like usually with mycotoxins, it can come from many different places, but a lot of times it comes from the environment that you're in. So for us to be in the same environment and not be displaying the same contamination. And I was telling the person who did the live blood analysis about it, and they were like, you know what? It might be that product you were saying, Clean Slate, why you don't have it and why they do. And so it just goes to show you the power of the product, and I love it.
I mean that's very mycotoxins are prevalent in a lot of coffees too. So like if you're doing something and everyone else around you is doing the same thing, if you're living in the same environment, if you're constantly doing similar activities, you should have very similar blood or urine samples from what your life is like. Like if you get a frat house and they all do these same tests, they're gonna probably have very similar outcomes.
Hmm.
If you go to someone who's actually taking care of their body though, and like you are, that's really cool to see that you had a difference of a singular mycotoxin from your actual blood analysis.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, that's one of those things. But clean slate, people ask, "What am I supposed to feel?" Everyone's different, but if you really are wanting to see what you should feel or should have, is like take a pre and then a post after like a month of a blood works analysis, and it will show a good difference.
Mhm. And sometimes we need those tests. People, it's like, look, it's an investment to do this experimentation on yourself, to do the testing on yourself, to kind of like play with things. But like ultimately, what's important to you? Because I used to buy multivitamins, and this is one of the reasons why I just don't mess with a lot of supplements. I used to buy these multivitamins thinking, okay, this is going to work for me. I don't feel anything right now. Like literally, I don't feel better energy. I don't feel better brain function, nothing. But it's gonna help sustain me so that as I get older, like I'm gonna age better. And I was just completely wrong. Like the reason I didn't feel anything, the reason why I didn't see anything is because it wasn't doing anything. So as you mentioned earlier, I was already full of contaminants, right? So I never did the proper detox to open up the receptors to even be able to get the benefit from whatever I was taking. But then third party testing shows a lot of these products aren't even giving you what they claim on the bottle anyway. So it's
Mm.
like when you have something where you get I know you all get rigorous strength testing done to your
Mhm.
product to make sure there's a standard and it's maintained. When you have that, and then the products are designed to cleanse, open up the elimination pathways, and allow you to get more. You get more out of everything, so it's an investment. Like I look at it as an investment.
My what I we talked a little bit about this last time, but the difference with our products is one, yes, we have a lot of testing done, but now that we own the manufacturing facilities and Dr. Christina Ram, who's the chief scientific formulator for all the products, she has a direct oversight into making sure that what's in the label or on the label is what's in the ingredients.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is there's a lot of companies out there who cut corners, and I think we all know it's a very true thing, but they'll cut corners. They'll have things that shouldn't be in there, or they'll have the wrong dosing, which it could be worse depending on who you are and how your body reacts. And one thing that our products also have differently is we don't have those added fillers. We don't have just the random added in things that are going to clog your body up even more. What
Mhm.
you see in our labels, what you get. That's the end all be all, and that's why almost all of our products, at least the supplement ones, are BSCG. It's the Banned Substance Certified Guaranteed, and that's one of the best testing for entire world. And we're also getting our entire not just products, but we're getting our overall manufacturing facility tested for NSF, meaning we're getting certified through NSF, which is bigger in the United States, but that's how like NFL, soccer, MLA, and all that kind of stuff. That's how they'll do their testing, make sure that's good.
And now I don't know about your testing and things, but I used to be an electrician, and the electrical company that I worked for, we had certain standards. Like people want to be able to say we're certified in this, we're certified in that, right? And I think it was ISO 400 or something like that. Some safety standard that we were trying to achieve. And you have to pay. There's an investment to get those to even test, right?
Hmm.
Like, so it really shows the heart of a company when it cares enough to get those certifications, because it's an investment on their end, but it's for people so that you know that you're getting a consistent quality product. And that's important because like without that, you don't know what you're getting. It's a mixed bag, you know?
And that the reason we're getting our whole manufacturing facility NSF certified, not just singular products, is because when you get certain products, yes, they'll take it, they'll do third-party testing, and they'll verify, yes, this one product in this one lot and batch number is good. We're getting
Hmm.
the whole manufacturing because we're paying more than we should, but we're making sure that everyone knows, like, hey, this is coming from a facility, not just this one batch, but the entire facility are up to standard and code.
Right.
Which, again, like you said, a lot of supplement companies don't do that, or they don't do the proper way, or they lie. That's actually a true thing. A lot of companies lie.
Mhm.
But we know that our products help people, and we want to make sure that people understand that our products go through that rigorous testing.
Yeah. So like, you often will see on like certain labels, it'd be like, I don't know, like let's just say, for example, it's coconut milk. But on the label to be like may contain dairy, might be manufactured somewhere where there's nuts present, right? So now if you have allergies to these other things, it's like you could deal with contamination even though the product itself is not supposed to have that in there. So it's really important to have a clean environment and be well vetted when you manufacture different things. And I just wanted to push that home because I feel like people take that stuff for granted or they don't. It's almost like when you go to Chick-fil-A and you go get that chicken sandwich, you think bread, meat, tomato, condiment, right? You don't think there's almost 50 ingredients in that sandwich, right? Like people they don't understand what goes behind in the manufacturing side of things. And that's where a lot of the problems come from. I mean, I think RFK, one of the things that he just got accomplished was there's certain dyes that he's getting out of like the cereal and different products that now are banned, I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but I know I've
It's
been hearing a buzz,
I
right?
think a red dye or something like that. I think they're taking that out of all the because one of the main ones I think was licorice, like the red licorice ropes.
Okay.
I think color actually came from chemical dye, like the red dye 40. I know once again, I don't know
R-
too much about it, but I do know
Right.
they're taking the stuff. And just knowing that it's wild in my opinion.
It's insane. It's literally just for coloring, but yet it has this slew of terrible side effects that come along with it just so it could look brighter. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And so this stuff is extremely important. And once again, I mean, you're still teaching me because I've been so busy with my own life and everything. I used to be way more in tune with Root and what they had going on. Like I should know that the manufacturing and everything has changed, but I just have not been tapped in like I used to be. But that's exciting, man. It's really exciting.
Well, I'll let you know everything coming up. And like I said, we'll work on what we can put in for some challenge prizes. Obviously, we'll have the clean slate and the sculpt for the people going to your challenge. Like I said, the company's giving samples of Zero In, the product we talked about a couple of times. So people will have sample packs of those to try that out too, which will help, I think, with the challenge overall. Um, but like I said, I think there's some ideas I have for challenges that I'll work with you. So
Okay.
anyone who's joining this, try your hardest because trust me, some of the things I'm trying to put together with Chris here for the winners boxes, I guess, will be pretty nice things.
Yeah. And we will have multiple winners, y'all. So don't worry. It's going to be multiple winners, multiple different prizes. But the biggest prize is the transformation. And so even if you don't win a prize, you're going to win just completing and competing, right? And having that extra little bit of motivation or that little extra nudge because there's really you can't put a price on your health. You could have $1 billion and have pancreatic cancer and be given 6 months to live, and it's like the money is worthless to you, right? So I think it's important for us to invest in what makes sense, what matters the most, what's going to give us the most pleasure and longevity. And your health is, you can't beat it. So, Dylan, thank you so much, man, for coming on. This was fun. I think
Thank you
this was
again.
even better than the first chat we had. So, getting
I
better.
think it was. I think we're building a little community right here between us. I think we're getting a little bond going while we're on these calls.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think now that I know more about what you do and you know more what I do, I think that there's a bit of a synergy. And I actually do nerd out and geek out when I hear about challenges like what you're doing. So I personally, but also I know the company is more than happy to be part of what you're doing. And I'm just excited that we have the opportunity to work together. Because I know that with your knowledge and what you're doing, it's going to be almost times tens what people can actually expect to do by themselves. And then you add in our products. I'm just really excited. And now that you're telling me that we might get some before and after photos that we can use for ourselves too, that's awesome for us too.
Yeah. I'm very excited. We're all looking forward to it. So, hey, y'all, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to join. I'll leave the link to join the challenge in the comment section, the description box. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
Thank you, everyone.